Hey, what's up, guys? A subscriber, shout out to Joy, requested that I do a review on these shoes. These are the Adidas Powerlift 2.0, and they are the less popular and significantly cheaper of the two options offered by Adidas for weightlifting shoes. The other shoe is the Adi Powers, which everyone is probably already aware of. So keep in mind as you watch this review that the only personal experience I have with squat shoes are with these ones here. So I got these online from Dick's Sporting Goods for $89.99 with free shipping. In terms of cost, these are on the lower end when it comes to squat shoes. About the fit, these run true to size, so I just ordered my normal shoe size. If you plan on getting these and you have any doubts at all, you can just go to any shoe store and just try on any pair of Adidas brand shoes and you can figure out your size that way. So when I have these on, they feel really snug and secure on my feet, especially around the heel area. It really feels like it cups my heel really well. Even sometimes when I'm warming up on squats, I get so anxious to squat that I don't even bother to tie my shoes. And even without tying the laces or using the strap, it really feels like it hugs my feet. Obviously, with the laces tied up properly and the lace strapped down, it just makes it that much more secure feeling. When I have these on, there's absolutely no movement or shifting around with my feet inside whatsoever. So for me, these are really comfortable. They're flexible and lightweight, making them easy to walk around the gym in. Oftentimes I'll forget that I'm wearing any type of specific purpose shoe at all. And now this could be a good thing or a bad thing because it doesn't give you that heavy, anchored down, weighed down feeling like the Nike Rumelios, which a lot of people say give that sensation. So if that's something you're looking for, you won't be getting that with these shoes. Let's move on to the sole. In my experience, they can actually be pretty slippery depending on the surface. In some areas of my gym, it feels really slippery, and in others, it feels like it really grabs onto the floor pretty well. I used to have a home gym, and it was pretty slippery on my hardwood floor. So it really depends on the surface. Also, if the humidity is high or if the sole somehow gets wet, say if I step into a puddle of my own sweat, then I am in for a pretty bad time. The thickness of the heel is 0.6 inches. This is a little bit more shallow than the more common, or what seems to be standard, 0.75 inches, 3/4 of an inch, right? It's not that big of a difference number-wise, so I can show you here. So say that's the inch mark there, that's three-quarters of an inch, half inch is right there, so 0.6 would be somewhere around that line. So the difference between 0.6 and 3/4 of an inch is around that much right there. So not that big of a difference, but without having any experience with other squat shoes, I can't really say for sure if that translates into a completely different feel. So this is definitely something to consider when shopping around for squat shoes. The sole is made of a really stiff rubber. It's quite hard, as you can tell from me knocking on it, but it does compress. I wouldn't say it definitely does not compress any more than a pair of Chuck Taylors would, but it does have a little bit of give. So watch here, as you can see that I can squish it in a little bit with my thumb around the edges. As I move closer and closer to the middle, it becomes impossible for me to compress it at all. But the fact that it does compress a little bit around the edges is problematic. And I'm going to show you some footage of me actually squatting in these, and you'll see what I mean. So the first thing I want to point out, and probably the most visible thing, is how much bouncing there is at the top, at the finish of each rep. And watch as I come up during the concentric portion, as I'm really trying to push my heels into the ground. Check out how the sole compresses. And check out this rep here. Yep, that one. As I really try to force my knees out and keep the pressure onto the heels and onto the outside of my feet, sometimes my feet will actually kind of roll a bit and my toes and inside of my feet will actually leave contact with the floor. And what I have on the bar in this footage is 270 pounds. And I would say the compression problem doesn't really reveal itself until around this weight. So 225, 205, 185 is okay. And it doesn't really become problematic until around 275 pounds. Now, about the durability of the shoes, I've had them for about 6 months now, and overall they're still in pretty good condition. The laces can get frayed up if I'm not careful, and if I allow them to get caught up in the Velcro. But the big problem is with the sole, specifically it was this one here. Right before my last powerlifting meet, the sole became delaminated, and I had to do the event with the big flap on my heel, on my left heel. I was able to fix it after when I got home with some super glue, but that makes me question whether or not the same thing is going to happen with other areas of the shoe, or the sole specifically. So to recap, some of the pros were they look good, they come in a variety of colors, so you're not stuck with just one option. They're cheap, they're easy to find the right size, and they're comfortable. Some of the cons: the heel is not the standard 3/4 of an inch thick. The sole can be slippery and the sole compresses a bit. So in conclusion, I think they are a cheap option to see if you like squatting in a heeled shoe, but after doing some research, I think there are better options out there. In the long run, if I had known how awesome it is to squat in squat shoes, I would have saved money if I just went for the Adipowers or the Remelios straight from the start. So that's it for the review. I hope it helps, and let me know if you have any questions down below in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.